is it. This is the one that I was called for that had all the sensors out, but when I showed up, none of the sensors were out, and had to take the MCI4 back to the shop and get the auxiliary PC board reconnected. So what's happening is the body sensor's up in the engine mount area, and it gets too hot. Now, I've seen this before plenty of times, and it makes that sensor go bad when it gets hot, and then when it's cold it works. So we're going to change that sensor out. I'd love to be able to move it. Alrighty, let's take a closer look at that body sensor. This is the one that I mentioned, you know, because they're back here, and this is, I mean, it's warm. I'm feeling nice and toasty right now on a 47-degree day. So here's how you check these. You see how easy that zip tie just snaps off? See that? Just breaks into pieces. Definitely have too much heat going on in this position. I'd love to be able to move it. Just give these a little tug. Just give them a little pull and see if they come apart. So these are actually good cables. They're not coming apart. You don't want to pull them too hard, but and I'll show you what happens. 99% of the time with heat affected, that little metal screw ring, that's what threads it on. It's only held on by a little flared piece of silicone plastic, which this is silicone plastic. Expands and contracts. Knocks those heads off, and then the connector comes loose. But these are semi-new cables that we have installed on this because of this problem that it keeps having. Yeah, those are nice and secure. So we'll just we'll knock that sensor off, and we'll put a new one on, calibrate the machine. And the next time it happens, we'll actually move it. Better spot would be someplace down here, out of the engine compartment where it's too hot. You can pretty much hit any spot down there. Yeah, it's going to get dirty, but dirt's not going to hurt it. So let's go get some Allen keys and remove that, and the new sensor. See, this is what he's seeing when that sensor goes out. The whole entire vehicle is red. You see that? That's a good indication that it is the body sensor. If just the bucket was red, it'd be the bucket sensor or cable. If just the stick was red, it would be both. Either one. The boom, it could be the body cable going to the boom sensor or whatnot. But because this includes the body, it is definitely the body sensor. Now, I disconnected them back there, but this is what he's seeing even when those are connected. So yeah, he says the system's running great after what we did to it, and we just want to go through, and I'll probably change, if I can find it, down there somewhere. There it is, over there. Nope, that's not it. Where is the can connector? Oh, they must have it down under the floor. Probably change that cable leading up there too. Now, no matter what sensor you change out on an excavator, you're going to have an arrow. See that arrow? It's pointing this way, okay? That's which way the system goes out to the bucket. This goes to the cab. So remember that. Make sure you put the new sensor on the correct way. And there's the old sensor. Now, you can't do anything with these. They're solid, so you can't take them apart. You can't check internals or anything. Alright, let's put the new one on. And that's the new one right there. That's the part number, TS1 tilt sensor. Alright, one thing to take note of when you change in sensor, you see the serial number here, the last 2 digits, this one's an 87, that's what's in the system. It assigns the number, the last 2 digits, to the position. So we got a new sensor which is 29, so we'll have to enter that into the system so that it knows that number 29 serial number is now the body. Reinstall your cables, make sure they're hand snug, and you can use a tool and just go not more than a 1/4 turn just to snug it down, and then put the keeper zip tie on so it doesn't come out. That's it. Now we have to calibrate. Now, as you see, the system is actually reading through that cable, so everything else is lit up nice and yellow, but the body is still red. So we'll go in to machine setup, edit, next, and here's the body. You see it's still on 87. There's 29 right there, so it's reading it. We'll select it. Now we're going to have to calibrate. Which way was that arrow facing? Label up, arrow forward. Okay, that's forward. Okay, that's good. We'll put that on 2. Alright, now we'll just basically calibrate the system, and the way you do that, you line the body up with the tracks. Topcon recommends you bring the boom up as high as you can, pretty much, and just kind of bring that bucket in a little bit. Kind of centers the equipment from rotating forward or backwards. Now, you can do this with a square this body to the track, or if you have a really good eye, you can do it that way. Also, you can have somebody outside telling you, yeah, your vehicle is straight or not. And I just happen to do all of it. And that looks pretty good right there, doesn't it? Okay. Alright, so basically you're just going to set both these at 0. And then do a complete 180. Get squared up to the tracks again. That looks good right there. You can divide both these numbers in half. 1.2 is going to be I use my calculator just so I don't screw it up in my brain. You know how old people are. Alright, so 1.2 divided by 2 equals 0.6. Alright, so you see that it's negative, so it's going to be a negative 0.6. So set negative 0.6. Okay. Now, that's 1.8. So 1.8 divided by 2 equals 0.9, and it's a negative also. So set negative 0.9 and set. Alright, that is set. Now if we go to the opposite, if we do another 180, we should get back to 0.6 and 0.9 for pitch and roll. But they're going to be positive. Alright? Get out and physically check. You gotta come over just a touch. Right about there, I would say. Okay. That looks good. Alright, the roll is going to be a little different just because I'm not on a flat surface and it is rolling more when you turn, so the roll is going to be a little bit different. But that is set. That is good. Hit OK. Cycle through to finish. Finish. And OK. And then make sure everything comes back alive. There it is. Alright, so body is done. New sensor on it. And now basically, just have the operator run it and see what happens. Make sure it looks right in the model. Okay? And it doesn't hurt to go in and just do a restart after that. Okay, good. So once it turns green, you want to make sure it doesn't move on that model. Okay, make sure it's looking good. Also, just check. Bring your bucket back up, your boom back up, and just move. Just move the equipment and see if it moves on the model. And it's moving. That looks good. It's not all crazy looking. It looks like we're sitting inside of a house pad. That's it. Awesome. And then, basically, all you have to do is tell the operator, get back to work. Alright, so after testing the machine, now the boom sensor is red. Alright, so that might be a good indicator of a bad cable for the boom. Alright, we'll check that out. Interesting. Alright, so it would come out of here, go up, just trace it, look for any damage. Up the boom. Sometimes they hit things. Green?
Green, blue now. Just that.
And they're not loose. Now those cables can go bad and you won't even see the damage inside. I think what I'm going to do is just change that cable. So you can stay seated.
It just nice, it's blue.
So you lost 3DMC, and we loaded this program, new 3DMC. Interesting that it's kicking out. That's what you described last time. Alright, see now, I'm thinking this is internal. Now everything is yellow. Very interesting. Let's just do something here. Let's get out. Let's take a look at something. Oh geez, you only have 2 machine files in there. Okay. Typically that would tell me that there's a bad cable connection here. That is a little loose. You see that? Let's get it started and play with it. I'm not getting it to go. Alright, when that happens again, just go into here, control, restart connection, and see if it comes back.
Okay, control, restart connection.
Yeah. Because there's nothing physically wrong with that. I'm not sure why it's saying. Let's go back to the boom. That's the one that was out. It's on 3 filtering. Label left. It's got values, but yep. Alright. We'll put that on 3 too, just so we don't confuse the system. Let's see what the stick says. Alright. Try one more restart. Does it when you're moving?
It's different whenever. And those certain, because that one of the guys that I guess his dad was GPS guy, he was saying, well, maybe it's like when you hit something and a wire's touching or whatever, but
yeah.
Not necessarily. I can see.
All right, I'm gonna hang out for a little bit. Just I'll keep an eye on you. Just kind of flag me down when you see it going red. If any part of this machine goes red, I'm interested in that. If you lose GPS, I'm interested in that too. So all of the troubles this machine is showing, it could need an OS wipe on the GX55 because these sensors go through the control box. And if they're locking up like that, showing red here and there, because there's nothing physical that I can see. So if this goes red again, if this causes an issue for him again, we're going to do a complete OS wipe on that box at GX55, which has already shown issues, so noticeable issues. I'm just getting my flash drive ready for an OS wipe. He hasn't said anything, but I have a funny feeling. So we're just loading. We got everything that needs to go back into that 55 GX55, because I might have to do a complete wipe on it. And there's everything we would need. Firmware, that's the actual OS, the 1.25. The new 3D MC, which we'd have to reload. The 119 is for eyesight, MCX config, and true. So just a few files, but it takes a while. Alright, so we're gonna just do a complete OS wipe and reload on this box. So there we go again. No power. So there is something wrong with that cable. So we disconnected it and he brought it down to me. That could be the issue too, but if I don't do an OS wipe on this, I'll never know. And the reason why I want to do an OS wipe, I'll show you exactly why. There's a funny looking icon in here, and it's typical. I've never seen it before, but it's typically something that if you never see it, then there's got to be something going on as soon as it comes up. So we'll reload all of this. We'll do a complete wipe. Alright, let's see if we can see that symbol. It's right here on the GPS. Right now it doesn't have it, just an X over. Still doesn't have it. I just don't like the way this box is acting. It seems to me there's something corrupt in it, and most likely the operating system. And it's too slow, still too slow. That should have locked on by now. See, it's not doing it now. But in between that pole and that yellow head is some funky looking C symbol. Alright, that took too long. Alright, let's just do a complete wipe on this thing. Alright, before we do that, make sure you have you're going to need 2 flash drives. One blank, because you're going to have to save a bunch of stuff. Did you see that? Did you see that? And this is what I'm talking about. Now it's showing the stick is out. It's not true. There's nothing wrong with this system. I've gone through and checked everything. Slope sensor offline. Isn't that something? And this is the issue they're having. Now watch, we'll do a restart on it. So it's operating system, it's starting up, showing issues. And it's dropping its 3DMC, going back to the Windows screen. And it's still doing it, so they're waiting to initialize. So when it first starts up, it's having issues. Bam, look at that. So alright, let's do a wipe. So the first thing you need to do is go to View, go to About, Options, Modify. We're going to export this file. This device ID is specific to this GX55, and we have to export that to the 3DMC folder. Where's my pen? There it is. So we'll go into hard disk, TopCon, 3DMC, and hit OK. And it's going to export it to that site, okay? And that's it. Hit OK, OK, OK. Now let's go ahead and save this machine file to our empty flash drive. Okay. Let's just go ahead and save their project, just in case. Let's go ahead and save that one too. Okay, so now we got those out of there. We'll exit. Now go into device itself, hard disk, save this TopCon folder, just hold down on it, copy it, go back to your flash drive, open, and paste that TopCon folder in there. And there it is. And that TopCon folder has all their information in it. Projects, the machine file, site data. It has the ID that we saved to the 3DMC folder. If we go into it, we can see that folder that we put in there. Right here. There it is. 074025. That's specific to this box. You lose that, you lose everything. So this is what we have. That's what we saved. And now we're good. Alright. So once you have everything saved, now it's just the process of going through and doing a wipe. Oh, gotta get this flash drive off my head with this big old helmet on me. Now this flash drive has everything we need to reload this machine. So let's shut it down. Power off. Now we're going to do a complete wipe. Alright, so that was about 10 seconds. Alright, so what we have to do now in order to wipe this system, we have to enter safe mode. So press down on this greater sign and the power button at the same time until that first image appears, then you can let go. This is going to allow you to enter safe mode. First thing we're going to have to do is calibrate the screen. Once that pops up, you know you're going to be entering safe mode. See how kind of slow it moves and stuff? It needs a new operating system. Alright, so once we're in, it's as simple as going to My Device, Windows, View, Options, uncheck the first two. Do not show hidden files and folders, hide protected operating system files recommended. So uncheck those first two, hit OK, and a whole bunch of folders will open up, okay? This is where we're going to do our NAND wipe. So then you're going to go down and find NAND wipe. N's come before M's, right? LMN, nope. N's come after. Jeez, it's been a while since I was in school. And there it is right there, NAND tool. Double click on that, and this is Format NAND Flash, and yes. And just let it go through its thing. And then it's going to go back to Calibrate the Screen. Okay. It's going to reboot back into safe mode. And here you recalibrate. You'll have to recalibrate in every different screen on safe mode. Alright, we'll do the same thing. We'll go into My Device. We'll go into Windows. We'll go into View, Options. Uncheck those first two. Hit OK. All these folders come up. Now here we're going to upgrade safe mode wins. So we need to go down to the upgrade folder. That starts with a U. So that's down towards the bottom. There it is right there. Upgrade. Okay. And that's what it should look like. Now we're going to tap Browse. And we're going to select the OS Safe Mode Wince image file. So here's our OS file. And there's three of them, eBoot, main, and safe. So we do safe first, hit OK. Make sure it is checked for Wince safe image and upgrade. And yes, it's going to go through its process of loading this Wince safe image. And then it's going to reboot. This first one can take up to 10 minutes. You see it counts down here, or well, it counts up 18% done, 19% done. So when that gets to about 100%, it's about 10 minutes on this. There's a good operator right there. Instead of going and sitting down somewhere, he's taking care of his equipment. Yep. 60%. So you can see this current running version is the 1.20. And that's from 2017, and what we're actually loading is the 1.25, which is I know that light's impossible. There you go. Which is the most current version for this operating system. Okay, so Winch safe image is done. It's going to reboot. I'm going to go back into the calibration screen and basically just go through that light, if I can cover it up. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. And there we go. Alright, go back into device, your Windows, view, options, uncheck. Okay. Now we're going to go back down to that upgrade folder. And there it is. And we're going to browse. Go to your OS. And here's where you're going to do your eBoot. Main is the last one you do. So eBoot, and make sure it appears. So that's eBoot version 1.25. Hit OK. Oh, where'd it go? Where'd it go? There it is. Hit OK. Alright, there we go. Make sure eBoot image is checked and upgrade. This one's pretty fast. It's not as, there we go, slow as the first one. It's going to reboot back into safe mode. Calibrate. Now this one is the main winch, and go to Start, Settings, Control Panel, and there's an upgrade folder right here. Double tap on that one. We're going to browse, and here, this has happened to me before, yesterday matter of fact, where you get into your USB hard disk and there's nothing in there. Exit out, go back in, Settings, Control Panel, Upgrade, browse, and it's still not showing up. Exit. Might have to do that a few times, I noticed. Still not showing anything in that. Alright, we'll just get out of there. We'll just do it through Windows, View, Options, uncheck those first two. Okay, go back down to your upgrade. Browse your OS and do your main here. And make sure, well, let's eBoot. I don't think we can do main here. Let's get out of that. I don't think we can do that. Settings, Control, Upgrade, Browse. Okay, there it is. And that's what I've done before in the past, is just gotten completely out of that, gone into the Windows, the other Windows, clicked on it, and it finally appears, which is weird. I'm not sure why it does that, but now it's showing it. Select your main, hit OK, and upgrade. And this one also counts up. It could take about a minute, usually not more than a minute. Once this is done, it's going to ask you if you want to reboot. Yes, reboot, calibrate, and then we'll go in and load all our programs. We'll load True, 3DMC, MCX config, and then the TopCon folder, which is important. And then we'll just do a power down, restart, and make sure everything is there. We'll do a check, make sure 3DMC opens successfully on its own, and yeah, so alright, so let's we got the main in, we got everything in that we need except for our program files now. Alright, so here we go. So now we'll do a basic Well, no, we can actually do it from here. Alright, so this is where we can actually start loading our files. So go into My Device, your USB hard disk. On here you should have everything. Start with the least important, I guess. It's important, but it's not the program. So true, double click on it. Install, yes, yes, yes. Next, and install. And that's going to install true, which is the Topcon receiver utility installer, and that's very, very handy and helpful when you need to go in and check the condition of things and change things. And so this one can take almost a minute, I guess. It says 15 seconds remaining, so but usually about a minute. Alright, so successfully installed true. Down here you see a checkbox, launch Topcon receiver utility. No, we don't need to launch that right now. Hit finish. And now the next thing you're going to do is load your MCX config. Double tap, and it's going to install the program. Hit OK, and there it goes. Alright, so as you see, the MCX config folder actually disappears. It's one of those folders that once you've loaded it, it's gone. So now, just open up your 3DMC. We'll load that. This is the new version, the 12 dot something or other, the newest and greatest. There we go. And this will load. This will take a few minutes. Alright, just about there. And you'll see that that program also deletes from your flash drive. So if you need to reload it, you're going to have to reload your flash drive. Alright, so that's gone. Now, the next thing, this GX55119, if you have eyesight, if you're going to have a technician remote control into it, you're going to load that as well, which we always want that option to be able to get in and check out the system, right? And you'll see, if it's successful, you'll see that little black and blue marble down at the bottom. So now the last and final thing to do is go in to your USB. Well, this isn't the right USB, so let me grab the right USB. The one where I saved the Topcon folder, it's right here. Go into your USB, there's that Topcon folder, hold down on it, copy it, go into your hard disk, and paste it. Make sure the folder appears, open it up, make sure everything is still there, exit out, and you'll see that you do not see the current 3DMC program file on here. You have to restart, power down, let that cook for about 10 seconds off that delayed battery. And then power back up, and then this should go, this is where you do your check. This should go straight into 3DMC. You should see it. You should see all those files that you loaded. And there it is right there, MCX config. Topcon receiver, GX config, and it's loading. New 3DMC. Could be a little slow at first. Everything's new. Go into View, About, make sure that is the current version that you loaded. It is. Check out your firmware, which is good. Let's make sure the auxiliary's working. Yep, we're tracking. Check the firmware, which is good. And we should jump on board here any second now. Bam, there it is. Alright, so it's saying out of design area. Let's go in and make sure the correct project is loaded. That's the correct project. That's better. Go into your machine setup, make sure that file's there, hit OK, and that's it. Everything is done. Now the best thing to do is just repower down. Wait 10 seconds. And reload. And make sure everything comes back up on its own again. You've done your checks. That should be good. If everything comes up, awesome. The only thing we have left to do is basically call the guy on the other end for the eyesight and make sure that he can see this machine, that he could actually tap into it via the eyesight that we loaded. And I can go in and check to see if it's connected. So interesting. It's doing the same exact thing with an OS wipe. See that? The whole entire equipment is red. It's doing exactly the same thing. So obviously it's not an OS issue. Let's restart. We could have a bigger issue here, and this could be the main board in the MCI4. This is why you power down and restart. Let's power down and restart again. See how many times this happens. So, alright, so we've isolated an issue not in the box. And the only way to find that out is to actually wipe and reload. So this equipment, it has an issue. I have to assume it's now in the MCI4. That, which had a froze up auxiliary cable, just could be getting old. The main board could be going on it. So let's see what happens here on a startup. Bam, slope sensor offline. You see that? Did you see that? That funny symbol. I've never seen that before. Alright, let's figure something out. Alright, so I disconnected the back display cable and disconnected the sensor CAN cable here that goes straight into the controller. So now I've restarted. Let's see what happens. This is the same issue that they've been complaining about. Trying to isolate this problem, it could be a headache. See, it's still saying slope sensor offline. See, now look at that. Now it's showing the body out. And we know the body's not out. And then the bucket just went out. There goes the stick. There goes the boom. The bucket came back in. I'm thinking this needs a whole new Medusa cable, which is this display cable here that goes back to the MCI4. Alright, there's one other thing that we can try. I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make a new machine builder. Oh, we just lost 3DMC. Alright, so I'm gonna go back in, I'm gonna make a new machine builder. That may be a corrupt machine builder with all the measurements and, because everything in that machine builder is what would cause this issue. So let me do that. First thing I have to do is get back into 3DMC. Loading project, building contours, connecting to GPS. Alright, so there's your machine builder right there. Last time it was modified was today, and that was me. So I want to go in. I need to physically photocopy take a photo of every page, okay, so that I can build a new one. So I'll do that. Alright, so I took a photo of every single page in this machine file. I'm going to create a new one, and I'm going to configure the name. Let's do something a little different than what they already have. We'll do JD470 with today's date, which is 11-2-21. Okay. Alright. And just make sure each of these pages are identical as far as information as the other one that you took photos of. Okay, so this is the new test file I have. It's gonna sit funny because I haven't calibrated anything, okay? So nothing's calibrated in this. But what I'm checking for to see if it's gonna be right. And it is. So let's go ahead and restart connection and see if it does pop in correct. Much faster. Everything is yellow. Alright, so that's good. Everything is good. So now, let's just do this. Let's go back to the original file and hit OK. Load that one and see what happens. Now the original file came up everything good, which is interesting. Let's restart it and see if it doesn't mess up. I'm hoping it's just a corrupt machine file. Comes up normal. Isn't that interesting? Let's power down. Let's power it back up. If this is a corrupt file, it should have the same problem that it was having. All I did was make a new test file. And it went green on the test file. It also is going green. And this is the intermittent problem that you have to deal with. Trying to figure out what the issue is, you know? pops in, everything is connected. It's waiting for satellites. Nothing's red, so I mean that's good. Very weird issue here. It's taking a while for the satellites on this one. It's initializing. This takes longer than it should on this file. Has some kind of conflicting information going on. There it goes, finally. Holy cow. Alright, so let's do this. Let's put it on the new file I made. Hit OK. This one initializes much faster. Now let's do a shutdown and a power up on this new file and see if it's any faster than the other one, and it should be. Alright, let's power up. If it does, then that means there's something corrupt in that other file. Takes just as long on power up as the other file. Isn't that interesting? Huh. Okay, so now I'm not thinking it's a machine file. And there it goes. And there it is. Alright, let's do this. Let's delete that machine file that I just made. Let's bring this old one up. Bam, everything is good. Alright, so let's delete this file that I made. Alright, and we'll keep that one. Let's just do a restart on it and see if it doesn't have any issues. And now it's not. That is so weird. Everything is operational. So weird. Let's power down, power it back up. See if we can get anything to go red. Maybe just building that test file and starting that and then getting out of that kind of fixed whatever issue this machine file had. I've seen that before. That's the whole reason why we build test files, is to test the file. And if it's going to work, then maybe I don't need to do anything else to it. If it goes red again, we're going to have to do a lot of different things to this. I'm going to want to get a new Medusa cable. That one just feels a little funny, I don't know. Bam, everything is in, waiting for satellites. Alright, so I'm going to say building that new test file, loading it, and then coming out and going back into this file, corrected whatever issue this file had. That's not uncommon. I've seen it before, so strong possibility that we've isolated this file issue. Weird. This box is very weird. Alright, that's it. We're going to leave it right there just like that. If it has any more issues, we're going to have to change out some cables, possibly this display cable, and then build a whole complete new machine file for it. Get rid of this one completely. But for now, again, the operator can get back to work.